Good morning. It's bright and sunny. What time is it? 6:40. We're a little early today. We're heading off. We've got a little over 200 acres anhydrous to put on today, 10 miles away. I wanted to leave early because, one, I want to get this done, try and do it while it's a little cooler out, or at least more of it. And also,
in a world.
And also, the road is cool, so my tracks won't be so hot on this long road trip. We made it. Barely. 500 hours is about all our tractor saw. Yeah. So we're off of this little side road here, but a half mile down there on the corner is a state highway that we were on. And I was on my side just fine, but there was traffic behind me that was starting to pass. And I put my turn signal on, signaling that I was going to turn on this road, mostly for the cars behind me. But a little car was heading down this road towards the highway and apparently making a left turn. They saw my turn signal, decided that was a good time to pull out and turn, which I understand they were trying to get out of my way on the narrow road and pass on the state highway instead, which in theory is good, except there was a semi truck coming around me. It was already started to pass and they about hit head on. I bailed as far off to the side of the road as I could. Fortunately, the semi driver was paying attention, got on his brakes real hard, and they did not run into each other, or me. I was worried about them running into me. Well, and each other, but yeah. So anyway, let's get set up and go here. All right, well, we're running. Noticeably more anhydrous puffing out. Now that's a sprayer track row, which is why that one there is really bad right now, and there's little I can do about it. I think the cooler, humid air is hanging a little bit longer than it did yesterday, which makes it look a little bit worse. Whether it actually is worse or not, I don't know. I don't like it, but there's little to nothing that I can do about it. You see, we got sprayer tracks right here, and that's the row. It's doing that. It's not a hose off. There's nothing wrong with the row unit. It's just the way it is. So we're going to get this stuff done. We've got this group of fields on this side of the road. We've got 2 fields on the other side of the road, and then we've got clump of 3 fields over around the corner over there. About 220 acres total. So Phil is bringing me another set of tanks right now. Brock is going to be around today. Probably take both of them to keep up as far away as we are today. They got a 15-plus mile haul to get tanks here. On the plus side, if you can see through my windows, our corn down here looks fantastic. Looks really good. It's growing. It's nice, even stand. I'm really, really happy with the way that the corn looks. It's been a little while since I filmed something, which is a good thing for me because it means nothing exciting is happening. So we got those front 2 fields done. We're working on one in the back. There's 34-ish acres in this one or something. This tank will go a long ways. Phil's got the other set of doubles over there for us to hook onto when we're done here. Brock is hauling tanks now too, so they can get ahead of us, I guess, a little bit. We had a couple empties back at the farm and whatever. It's a long haul. So we're going to get out and look at the corn a little bit. This corn looks fantastic down here. It looks really good. The ground looks very different on top here than what we were in yesterday. And that's because we have not had a significant rainfall on this ground since we planted it. There was one rain that we had weeks ago now. But we caught like an inch or a little over an inch back at the farm. And here we didn't get near that much, not even close, and you can tell, not because it's drier, but because the ground is still soft on top and loose dirt and not as, you can tell it hasn't gotten wet, so, yeah, it'll be all right. Let's take a stretch break. We'll look at our corn out here. It looks really good. It's got great color, it's growing. It's such a shame that we're going to dry up and stuff is going to be stressed, but you can kind of see what I was talking about with the dirt here and how it's just still loose on top. It's not all, packed down and molded back together, I guess, from the rain. And then look at them plants. Oh, they're beautiful. Here's our first leaf. Remember, we've got a rounded tip on leaf 1. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then 4. We've definitely got a 4th leaf collar, but not a 5th. So this is V4 corn. It looks really good. Our stand looks pretty darn good. There's one right there missing. There's one right there missing. I mean, you're going to have a few. It's not the end of the world. This is really good corn. We just need some rain. Just need a little rain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing here. We're going to be pushing V5 by the end of this week. And that's when we set rows around. And we're going to stress this corn. And it'll never recover from it. And that's sad. So we kind of have a couple of options. You know, it's dry. Now, it's hard for me to articulate the dry weather and what it means to us right now. Like, if it rained today or tomorrow, we have lost nothing. Our corn is still very good shape. The issue is the heat and the dry weather that we're supposed to continue to get, and the fact that there is still very little to no rain in the forecast. Like, right now they're talking a 30% chance of rain on Tuesday next week. That's almost a whole week out, and it's like a 10, and that isn't going to do anything for us. And so we can kind of say, well, it's going to be dry, our crops aren't going to be very good. It's still May. I have a hard time giving up on a crop in May, but we could cut our nitrogen rates a little bit in anticipation that we're not going to have the top end of the yield and we don't need quite as much nitrogen. We could say we're not going to put any fungicides on and worry about any added stuff for crop protection. You know, we're going to cut our losses, save some money, and not spend anything more than we need to. But that's giving up. That is giving up. In May, it just can't do it, because if we get some rain, or when we get some rain, who knows where things will be. So the other option is to kind of lean into it, right? We can put on the nitrogen that we were going to put on. We can put on some V5 fungicide to help reduce stress. Fungicides reduce abiotic stress, drought stress on plants, on corn specifically. And so we can put that V5 fungicide out here to try and help it through this dry period, hoping that some more rain comes. We can plan that Y drop application on some stuff to give it that extra nitrogen kick after we get some rain the end of June, right? That's all planning on getting rain. We'll see what happens. But in doing all of those things, we had costs. We had a lot of expenses. And if it doesn't rain and we end up with sub 150 bushel corn or 100 bushel corn, or who knows, all of that money was wasted. Because we'll trigger a crop insurance payment at some point, and at that point, anything that we added to the crop, it was an expense that we didn't need. So, I don't know. We're definitely going to lean into some of it, spray that fungicide, and try and protect it, but it's a sucky thing to have to decide in May. How can we even think about giving up on a crop in May? That's just... that doesn't make sense. Do you guys remember when we were starting anhydrous last week and I was working in an outfield trying to get the auto path set up? We were trying to figure out how to work, and I kind of got it to work, but I couldn't get it to work because my 37.5 foot passes didn't mesh with the 60 foot planter. Well, I talked about it in the video. I don't remember which video it was. Last week sometime. Apparently John Deere watches my videos, because on Friday last week, right after this video, it must have been Wednesday when I did that, so the video came out on Thursday. They emailed me on Friday, I think. I got an email from John Deere, from literally someone in corporate John Deere, with a few different workarounds and solutions for my issues. And I don't know how much I'm allowed to really say, but I got a email back from them this morning that they're going to send me what I think is like some pre-release software that fixes the problem, and an NDA that I'm not allowed to talk about it. So that's cool. We'll see. Hopefully we get that later today, or before we're done side dressing at least. And yeah, we'll get to put the auto path to work. Brock just got here with another tank, and he's looking to take one. We just got empty, so we're gonna switch out here. I got out to unhook mask and gloves. He just jumped in my tractor. Just moved it all by himself. Just taking over. That's fine. We'll help him get hooked up to this one. It's easy hooking up with the tractor because the tongue on the bar extends and moves side to side. This truck, not so much. It's a little more difficult. Okay, he is off and we are off. We just have a round here, down and back, and we are done on this side of the road. So we'll move. This farm that we're working is one of those where is the one where Dad had to plant his wildflowers. There's one of his patches. They're scattered all over in these filler strips, both sides of the road, or all of them. If you missed when we were talking about that a few weeks ago, these filler strips here, this grass area between the ditch and the field that we don't farm and we stay off of, is signed up in a government program. The filler strip basically gives us a buffer between the open water and our fields so that we don't have any fertilizer or nutrient runoff or soil erosion. Any surface water that would run off has to go through the grass where it would slow down, the dirt would settle out of it. It keeps the sprayer and the spreaders and everything away from the water so that we don't get anything directly going into the water, and offers some habitat for birds, wildlife, whatever. And part of that program this year was we needed to do some mid-contract maintenance. It's a 10-year program. We're halfway or a third of the way through it or whatever it is. They wanted him to spray some of the grass and plant flowers for pollinators, I guess. So he's done that and been doing his best to keep them alive, watering them through the drought and everything, which has taken a considerable amount of effort. Okay, well, I don't remember where we left off, but I got the field in the front done around the house there. Was doing end rows here in this back field, and was doing a little woods. I noticed that one row there was really gassing off and it seemed excessive, so I thought the hose came off. Oh, let's go look at it. Well, the hose didn't come off, but we have a broken boot. The boot, it's where the beaver tail attaches, is gone. The boot's still there, but the beaver tail is gone and it's cracked and broken. So we gotta go get some parts and fix it. That piece, it's not supposed to look quite like that. What happened to you? Come on. Come on. Calls me and I can't understand a word he's saying because he can't even talk. Most people would enjoy this. This is what it's more supposed to look like. This is the used one. The one that fell off the other day that we found, yeah, I'm putting it back to use. So we had to switch the tubes because we don't need a vapor tube on this line. We'll go ahead and get that put on. Yeah, nice little hour-long delay there that effectively turned into a lunch break, so no big deal. Good as used. All right, let's get back to work. Got them doubles empty, so Brock's helping me switch tanks again. Oh. Close. Would have helped if I could have directed him instead of holding the phone. Alright, I got that one hooked up. Now we'll help him get hooked up here if he doesn't run me over. Get these out of here. Off he goes. Okay. Back in our sweet tractor to finish this field. We have moved on to the other group of fields that we've got left here. We've got a big field there with 46 acres. There's about 20 in this field, and there's a little 6 or 7 acre piece over there. This farm is the only corn on corn that we had this year. So you'll notice all the residue. This was corn last year. We fall chiseled it, ripped it with our 2730, field cultivated it this spring, and planted corn back into it. Kind of an acres balance thing. It looks decent. Corn's growing. It looks pretty good. I actually think the bar is doing a little better job here, sealing better than what it was in the other stuff. I don't know if the residue's held a little bit of moisture. It hasn't dried out quite so fast, or what the difference is. Now the corn is more variable here, and it looks a little yellower than the other stuff. It just doesn't quite have that same deep green color to it. And I think the reason for that is the residue, the cornstalk residue, it ties up nitrogen. when it's decomposing and breaking down and stuff, and your carbon to nitrogen ratio is very different in this field than it is in other fields. And so it's tying up some of that end, but we're adding more right here, putting some on with our side dress. So hopefully it will get into this and green up. But it's going to take a little rain to do that. We've moved on. Last field, this is the big one here. There's 46 or 47 acres in this field, I think. That tank sitting up there is full and should be enough to finish. We'll see where we end up when this one gets empty and how many acres we get done in this field, but I think, given that we've already got almost 12 done, and I can do a little over 30 on a tank, we should be in good shape to finish with what we've got here. So this is more of that corn on corn ground, and I will say this corn is as stressed as anything that we've been in side dressing. Now, whether that is because it's the corn on corn, the nitrogen tie-up that we talked about, or just the fact that it's another day without rain, we're in the heat of the day, it's 89 degrees outside, and this corn is starting to show stress. It's not looking great. Not so fun fact about this particular field that we are in. Some of you may remember 2012. 2012 was a drought year across much of the Midwest. No different here. Now, I will say that our fields closer to home at Waldron, remember we're like 10 miles away from our home farm here, we caught some summer rains and we actually didn't have terrible crops. Like, our corn averaged in the 145, 146 range, which sounds terrible now, but keep in mind this was over 10 years ago, and at that time, if we had 150 bushel corn, we were pretty happy with it. So being in the 140s after the dry year that we had was not that big of a deal. You guys are distracting me. I forgot to click the switch. So now we got to do a big turn thing. Anyway, so we had pretty decent crops there. Now here, 10 miles away, we missed those rains, and in this field right here, I shelled corn that averaged 31 bushel to the acre. 31. Now we're not quite in half-mile long rows here, but they're not short rows. And when you can make 3 to 4 rounds with the combine without having to unload, it's a bad day. It's a really bad day. I remember having a grain cart driver that day, telling him to go home because it was pointless to have a grain cart driver. It was really bad. We're nowhere near that right now, but that is a distinct possibility here again this year. So 2012 was a very dry year, specifically here where we're sitting. That year was much warmer early. We had some 80-degree temperatures in March, which we didn't come anywhere close to that this year. We started planting that year on April 9th. It was the earliest that we have ever started planting. This year we started the 12th. It's the second earliest we've ever started planting. We finished planting by the 23rd of April. That's by far the earliest we'd ever finished planting, at least on the corn we did that year. We did not finish that early this year. I don't remember what day it was, the 12th of May or something along those lines. So it's not identical, it's not the same, but there are some similarities. And it was very dry and hot in June. I remember we were building a grain system down to Berkey, putting a bin together in June, that dryer bin, and it was 112 degrees on the thermometer in the bin when we were putting bolts together in the blaring sun and heat and everything, and it was not fun. So we're seeing similar things this week. Hot, dry, early. It very well could cool down and rain the end of the year. Our crops just have to hang on long enough to get us there, so we'll see. Can you guys see the dark green streaks right there, right there, another one over there? Those are tile lines. Even in a really dry year, tile lines still look better. Still gonna pay. We rent this farm. It needs more tile. We need to come in and split every one of those and make it even better so that this right where we're at would look like that over there and over there. Well, just for a little added drama, we've only got about 7.5 to 8 acres worth of anhydrous left on our tank, and we have 7.3 acres left, so it's going to be close. We should have enough. I kind of backed the rate down just a touch because it's not worth dragging a whole nother tank down here to finish a half an acre. So we're gonna make this finish one way or another. Last pass, and I'm pretty confident we're gonna make it. It says we got 350 pounds of N left in the tank. Good deal. I knew we'd be close. It was a little closer than I had hoped, but we made it. All right, it is a little after 4:30, but I'm gonna head back to the farm and we're gonna see what else is going on and probably call it a day, because we do have another 95-acre field that could be done. I don't really want to do it, more or less. So we've got 215 acres done for the day, and that's a good day, especially by 4:30. So yeah, let's go back from. Also, we're well over half done side dressing corn. So almost all the early corn has been done. Like I said, we got about 95 acres, but it is sort of behind, and I mean it's not to the point where it has to be done. So we're gonna hope for rain. It's a long trip home, and I was worried about track temps. Yeah, they're warm. Yeah, we're about halfway. We have one of our wheat fields here is halfway between where we were and home, so I decided to pull in here and just let stuff cool down for a little bit. Let's talk about the wheat while we're here. It's a beautiful wheat crop. Man, it looks fantastic. It's really starting to stretch out. Thigh high on me, and I'm pretty tall. You can see we've got a little varying heights here. But we are in the heart of pollination right now. You see all those little things hanging off those heads? Let's see if I can get that to focus on there. Yeah. Those are the anthers. Those are what actually are shedding the pollen and pollinating the wheat. And yeah, we really need a rain. It is a darn shame that we have this beautiful wheat crop and it is gonna get held back because we're so dry and it just doesn't have the moisture that it needs. That's a real bummer. It looks really good, but what are you gonna do? Now, wheat is a little bit more of a dry weather crop. It can generally handle a little bit of drought stress, but pollination and grain fill is the critical time, and you can't grow a crop if you don't have any moisture. We do have a little disease out here. We've sprayed a lot of fungicides on this, trying to protect it, and so they're definitely working, but like if you look over here, for some reason these leaves are yellow and tore up. Most of them aren't that way. Yeah, I still think, man, it looks really good. I just wish we could get some rain. This variety's got almost a bluish cast to the stalks. I noticed that driving by. This field is very light colored, the head and the stalk color. I think that's just a genetic thing. I don't think there's anything more to that. So, all right, we'll walk around, feel our tracks, and we'll give her a few minutes and keep going. Have you guys seen the video where Brian Brown was complaining because somebody tried to pass him while he was turning left? It just happened to me. Like, this car had a half a mile to pass me, waited, and I literally was driving in the center of the road. The dotted line was in the middle of my hood with my left turn signal on, and they decided that was the time to pass me. Don't be an idiot. Oh, don't be an idiot. I will make it known when you can pass me. Like, I stay on my side of the road. Look, there's nothing coming. Pass me. If I am in the middle of the road, do not pass me, especially with a left turn signal on. All right, we made it back. They've got 2 sets of doubles and a big tank all ready for me, so I'm probably gonna have to run those out, but we aren't gonna do it tonight. Look at the dark cloud. What are the chances we get our own little personal rain shower here? Slim, very slim. Anyway, we might go do that 95 acres in the morning. Maybe when it's cool, we can get it done. I don't know. We'll see how things go. You guys ready for something exciting? I have something exciting to do. So, we need to get our tractor fueled up and ready to go for tomorrow. And we need to put DEF in it. But I haven't shown you this yet, but we've been having some trouble. Not trouble. The dip tube that I got for our DEF tote is too short. I bought the one for the size tote that we have, but it doesn't reach the bottom. I don't understand it. I don't know why. There is a valve on the bottom of the tote, just like our chemical shuttles, that we can use to get the stuff out of, but I can't hook the pump up to it. But I have a solution. Sitting right over here in the barn. Don't hit the rain guard. We're getting the boss out. And we're going to use this. I got this that we can hook onto our shuttle. And it fits right down in there. In the little DEF filler. For the DEF tote on here. And then we can use the pump on this to pump it into the tractor. Makes sense, right? Yeah, it's a little, yeah, it is what it is. What are we caught on? Come on, I really want to show this part. There we go. Turn the key on. Oh, I'm too far forward. We gotta pull forward. Not gonna work. Oh, that's so cool. Ooh, she's heavy. Airbags on my truck will pump up. The half-ton truck's probably not enough to pull this thing full, but we aren't going to fill it. We're just getting it around, and this was the convenient truck that's not hooked up to something else. Nice touch with the safety chain holders, spots to store stuff. Well done. We'll put this back inside. Let's go get it out, and we're going to need the forklift to lift our tote. Gravity feed it into there. See, here's our tote. And it's got this top withdrawal that doesn't even screw into the lid, but it's got this tube, and the tube does not reach the bottom. We probably still got, I don't know, 20 gallons in there, 25. Gotta get it out. So we're gonna go out that bottom withdrawal and just put it all into here. Something like that. Safest thing I've ever done? No, but it'll work. So we got that down into that fill. All I should have to do is open the valve and hope that it doesn't leak everywhere. Effective. I got a throttling valve here. Huh. I didn't even think about it, but I suppose this little self-filler hose would have threaded right onto that fitting. There's threads on there as well. We could have used its own pump to fill it. That would have worked. If I didn't already have this all working and set up, we would do it that way. Next time I will know. 25 gallons. Like I said, it's about empty. Oh, it looks pretty good behind that Ram, not gonna lie. It's a good combination right there. All right, we got our DEF in. Let's see if the hose will reach the tractor from where we set. Also, this has been sitting in the barn for a better part of a month, so the battery may well be dead. Although the jack worked, so maybe not. Oh, our fuel's good. I think it's gonna reach. Nice. Josin. I hate that I have to do this, but this is the way to do it. I mean, that's awesome. Our tote sitting here with a pump on it wasn't bad, I will say that. But when we have to fill in the field, when we have to fill in the field, this is gonna be awesome. Weed harvest is coming quick. That worked. All right, we're done with this. Pack in the barn you go, fuel trailer. Soon we will need it. Wheat harvest. We fuel combines in the field, and we have a lot of wheat down to Berkey where we have to haul fuel. It's gonna be awesome. All right, we're gonna wrap that one up here. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button for me if you would, please. A little bit of side dressing in the morning, a little bit of box collecting in the afternoon. We'll see what else we can find to do tomorrow, but yeah, we're gonna back off on side dressing a little bit. We're gonna keep pecking away at it, but I'm not gonna spend full days doing 200 acres like we did today, and we didn't even spend a full day. But we're kind of caught up to the planter. You know, we're 3 weeks behind the planter, but caught up to where we started planting in May after we get this next 95 done. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.